disciples of the Watch.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to the Disciples of the Watch podcast, where we talk rock and metal and play tunes from independent artists from all over the globe. And now your hosts, Gene Vogel and Nate Matnich.
Disciples, thank you for tuning in for another episode of the Disciples of the Watch.
In this episode, we're going to share some music, chat some news, and we'll wrap the show with 11 essential 80s metal albums everyone needs on vinyl, according to Loudwire. And I may or may not agree. We'll find out. I'm Nate Matnich.
And I'm Gene Vogel. Thank you for joining us. Also on this episode, we'll enjoy some independent music from Diavola, from Norway and Exit. Just simply Exit from Switzerland. But before we get to all that, now we got to play some catch up. How you been, man? What's been happening in your world?
Things are slowing down a little bit here as we're moving into the cooler weather, though. I mean, we're still hitting like 70s and stuff like that, but it's supposed to change this week. And unfortunately, because I have allergies, man, this in between with all the dead leaves and stuff is just like killing I got this terrible dry cough. But anyways, it's still nice to see the sunshine and all that. I picked up a drum from India. It's called a mridangam, and I have learned some of this in the past, but I haven't played for a long time. And we have live music at our meditation center. We do live chanting, and we need more drummers. So I bought a drum, and the guy I bought it from's got a school, so I'm taking lessons from his senior teacher.
Nice.
It's a little daunting because these guys have been playing since they were like 8 years old, and it's a very technical drum. Every finger stroke has a different sound.
That's what she said.
And then they have phrases, so it's difficult, but it's fun. Having a little bit of drum, history and just music history in general, I get the concept of time and, double time and all that type of stuff, so I'm not having to learn all that from scratch. But thought it'd be a nice way to spend the winter, just practice drum, all that type of stuff.
Well, and it's a nice thing to challenge yourself with as well.
Yeah, totally.
Especially as we get older, we need that.
Yeah, otherwise you get narrow-minded, right?
Or you die early because you're bored.
Die of boredom. I can't imagine, but I suppose it could happen. Oh, man. Just also started like working out again on a really, really regular routine, and getting up and doing a fairly vigorous yoga practice every morning has been really good. I was sporadic with that stuff for quite some time, or not existent at all. And I've lost like 10 pounds and
nice.
Just have better energy and better mood and everything, because starting out the day, with some exercise, and then I meditate right afterwards. Leslie, my wife, does that with me every morning, so we get up and do that. It's been pretty cool. I've been watching Welcome to Derry, which is the It story, and for some reason, I thought this was going to be like a different story or a different aspect of it, but it's just a reworking of the story. Maybe they got a little bit more history and stuff in it, but what I do like is that it takes, some of it takes place in like 1989. And so like they have a movie theater with Nightmare on Elm Street 5. So right away I went to Wikipedia and said, what year did that come out? And it was accurate, Then I heard Anthrax, Antisocial. I was like, fuck, that's awesome. Song off
Nice.
of State of Euphoria. I was totally, I should be used to that by now, because a lot of shows are incorporating, music that we grew up with, which would now be classic rock, I guess. But it's still cool to see it on TV. And in regards to new music, the new Megadeth song, I Don't Care. At very first I was like, this might be a little bit hokey, but by the time I got through the song, I actually kind of liked the vibe of it. I heard it described as a punky type vibe, and I agreed with that after I read that. I was like, yeah, it's kind of got that fuck you attitude, which is punk. And the guitar licks are fucking phenomenal. So I'm really excited about that. And that definitely was what first grabbed my ear, is like, they do a verse and then there's a little lick or whatever, and it just sounds killer. So
to me, this was a song that broke away, and maybe I'm wrong and you might be able to point out some examples, but obviously we've talked about bands kind of becoming formulaic. Creator's one of them. Testament has done a good job of that. Not good job isn't maybe the right terminology, but they've done that as well. Exodus. There's a bunch of bands we could probably name where it's like they found this spot and they kind of stuck with it. Megadeth has done that. They'll kind of flex a little bit in and out of that. But this song, to me, kind of breaks all of it. It feels like it's like we're going to kind of go back to late 80s, early 90s Megadeth. And it feels a little bit like, God, hokey. Like, what is that the term you used? It feels a little bit forced at first, but it's like, but that's just because I think our guard is up. And once you can let the song just kind of go and you kind of sit back with like, okay, what year of Dave are we getting here? Because for me, it feels like it's just a throwback. And it's like, you know what? This actually is a little bit more original than I expected, or a little bit more. I give it more credence than I did the first time I listened to it, because at first it's like, oh God, Dave, here we go. But then, it wasn't even through that. It was throughout that first listen where I could feel my I don't know what the term is that I'm looking for, but I could just feel my vibe shifting. There we go. That's what it is. I felt my vibe shift going, okay, you know what? I appreciate the fact that Dave just decided I'm going to write just a punky fucking song. Lyrically I'm not trying to communicate anything other than just a big middle finger.
Yeah. And I think early Megadeth was in that vibe.
Yeah.
I mean, just in general, he had a very much of a fuck you vibe. And
it was very much geared towards Metallica.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's good. I'm thinking like young people too, who are, who came to Megadeth many, many years after we did. I could see that. I think when I messaged you, I said this is kind of like a teenager anthem, and I could just see that younger people, Overkill. We always talk about Overkill because they're one of the greatest bands, but they did a song too not too long ago that kind of had that teenager thing going on with it. And I can't remember which song it was or even what album. It might be like 3 albums ago or something like that. But it's cool because they had that same too. They had a little bit of a punk vibe in the back, back in the day.
Yeah. Now you're getting my. I see they did a video for it too, didn't they?
Yep, they had a video. Yep.
I want to say Electric Age off the ad album, I'm saying. Goddamn Trouble.
Yep. I saw Grinding Wheel. Yep, second song. Right on.
Dang it. I went too far back. Yeah. But yeah.
Well, Grinding Wheel is 3 albums ago now.
It is. It'll be 4 when they finally get this new album out next year.
Yeah, so I'm stoked. I hope this is a sign of like what's to come with the new Megadeth. Yeah,
because the first song just felt.
I hope he's going to ride out on a good vibe.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see. And of course, it's going to take a while. And it's funny because people think, oh, he's already recanting, or he's already going back on his. No, a farewell tour for a mega band like that, for a large band that has toured the world and visited so many locations. If Dave he's planned this. There's a reason that this is going to be the last album, because he's going to spend the next roughly 3 years on the road. So not just supporting the album, but he's saying goodbye.
Yeah.
So when you idiots out there on social media are trying to drag Dave like, oh, a 3-year tour for a final. Oh my God, this is horrible. You're fucking dumb. This is part of the plan. And he's got now, and this is another thing he's mentioned. He's got extra songs that he's held back. And so we'll probably get some singles as he's touring on these final bits, but it's all planned.
Well,
so you can't just say we're going to have a farewell tour and say, well, we get 6 months to tour the fucking world and say goodbye to as many people as we can. Fuck you. God, I'm so sick of fucking social media and idiots. I'm tired of idiots, actually. Let's just narrow it down. Between driving and in the grocery store, wherever the fuck, stop being stupid. And for you guys out there that are supposedly metal fans, stop being fucking dumb on social media and talking about shit like this you don't understand it, so just shut your mouth.
I'm ready to just get out in the street and just fight it out.
Let's
Not
go.
even fucking joking, man. Not even
let's
joking.
just fucking Megadeth, you got me with I don't care. Now look at me. Middle fingers in the air.
Yeah, fuck you. No, I mean any big bands like this, they tour for years. I mean, Metallica is like perpetually on tour.
Dear God, they toured how many? They're still touring the Black Album, for fuck's sake.
Right.
So
They never stop touring that one.
Yes, don't come at me with that bullshit, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I think 2 years for a lot of those type bands is not unheard of at all. Even Pantera back in their heyday, and well, even now they're out. I mean, just touring. But as far as like coming out with a new album and then going on the road for a couple of years, this seems pretty standard. So I don't know. I've just got a lot of respect for Dave Mustaine. So he doesn't do wrong in my eyes, and whatever he does, whatever. But I'm liking this song and look forward to hearing the rest of the album for sure.
Yeah, same.
I've been going through that biblical book from Rob Halford on Audible. It's very long. Wow. I mean, I've listened to it a lot, and I'm still like, wow, 3 more hours. So it's taken me a while to get through it, but it's really good. At first, I was like, okay, this is it's hokey in the way he was presenting it, you know, like the scriptures and, you know, the metal god and that whole like thing. But the content of it is very interesting. I just like how he breaks out all the different aspects of being in a band and being on tour and photo shoots and radio spots and all this different stuff. And he just covers all of it from their perspective and their ups and downs with it. And Rob Halford's just really enjoyable to listen to, you know, talking about their history, because there's not a lot of pretentiousness with those guys that I recall. They're really hardworking band, and they just like to put out good music, and they care about their fans. And I just feel like all of that really shines through a lot, especially when Halford's talking about all this stuff. So if you're a music nerd, I would definitely recommend Biblical, because it's a little nerdy, I think, on the he's getting into technical stuff about recording studios and managers and, you know, all this different stuff that they've figured out since fucking 1974 when they put out Rock-a-Rolla. And you mentioned it to me because you'd been listening to it, so that's what got me checking it out, and I appreciate you mentioning it.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
That's all I've been up to, man. What's going on in your world?
You know, it's been pretty laid back for me. I took this week off, almost this week. I worked on Monday and then wrote out the rest of the week to burn up some of my PTO. Plus, I just needed a staycation. I wanted to get stuff done around the house. I wanted to unplug and just you know, get away from the fucking rat race for just a little bit. And it was fabulous. I even did we revamped the chairs at my job, all the chairs at both locations, and brand new chairs. So we got piles of these chairs that, you know, they were expecting employees to want to take home, and hardly any of them left the building. So we got all these chairs sitting around, and I decided I was going to bring some to KFAI down to the radio station. Cause you know, they got the ones that are in the studio are not impressive at all. So I'm like, I can improve these easily by I just got to go down there, load up my wife's vehicle, cause I drive something that's not built for carrying stuff. And then we have one of those trailer hitch edition things. You can load the bed on it. Well, this one's wide enough that you can put like one of those rascals, those carts for older people or heavier people or people with injuries. I know there's a variety of uses for those. I'd like to get one myself. There are just times where it's like, I'd rather ride that than walk, but I digress. So I threw chairs on that. I loaded that thing up and I took it down to the radio station and did some donations, so to speak. It was kind of nice. It was twofold. As one, as I cleared out one of the buildings and got all the chairs, or most of the chairs out of there. There's still, I think, 3 or 4 left. And then also, you know, restocked and got a bunch of good fresh chairs down at KFAI. So that'll be pretty nice. It was like a good time to do it. It's like, I have this time off, and here's something I can do to help out the radio station and kind of help my employer as well. Just get that stuff out of there, and myself, because it's been driving me crazy. You know, and you were talking about TV shows. There's one that I want to recommend. I heard about it and kind of just forgot about it, and then I heard about it again. So I'm like, all right, you know, when you start to hear those shows that are constantly people are talking about and it keeps popping up, especially if there are people that you appreciate their opinion on television shows and such, because I've been steered wrong a time or two, and sometimes it's even people's whose opinion I trust, because tastes vary, of course, and there's nothing wrong with that. But this one I enjoyed quite a bit. It's called Task with Mark Ruffalo. It's on HBO, and it's got Jamie McShane. He's been in a lot of stuff. He was in 24 and Sons of Anarchy. I swear I've seen him more, but when I did his IMDb, I'm like, oh, I guess maybe I've just seen him a lot in the shows like 24 and Sons of Anarchy that I've watched, and a few other pieces and whatnot. And there was another guy in there, Tom Pelfrey. And I was looking at this guy, and I'm like, I know this guy. Where's he from? And then finally I stopped trying to rack my brain. I just pulled up my phone and did some digging. And sure enough, Ozark is where he was. He was the sister or the brother of, what's her name? Bird, the wife of Jason Bateman's wife in the show. So the one that ends up having to be taken out because he's a liability. Spoiler alert for those of you who haven't seen Ozark. Great show. Another one, by the way.
Yeah, Ozark's good. I'm glad you mentioned this one. I think I might check it out. Leslie and I are watching one called Animal Kingdom, which is like this mother who's a criminal, and she's got 4 sons, and they all like pull these criminal jobs. She's kind of the mastermind, and they're the muscle. But in my mind, it's like Sons of Anarchy, but in a different setting, because the mother's kind of all fucked up and her kids are all fucked up, and that was kind of a central thing with Sons of Anarchy, where the mother was just no good. But it's interesting. Yeah.
Is that filmed in Florida? The one you're talking about?
Oceanside.
Is it based on Florida?
California.
Oh, okay. California. Another weird place at times. Oh, and then I also want to throw a quick mention out to the kid actor, Ben Lewis Doherty. I thought for sure, because this kid, I don't know, I connected with this kid, the kid he's playing. I don't know about him as the actor himself, but the role he plays in this, I connected with immediately, and I'm like, if they kill this kid, I don't know if I can watch this show.
Oh, really? Because
there's just something about, I don't know if he reminds me of myself as a child or my vision of myself. Maybe that's more of an appropriate way to say that. I'm not sure, but it just something about him. I clicked with it, and I just wanted to make sure he was taken care of. So I just wanted to make sure that he got a shout out, because he does a phenomenal job. And if you watch the show, you'll probably see what I mean, or you'll think I'm a pervert. I don't know. And it's not like that. Of course, I'm not going Trump on you here. I'm not to climb on kids or nothing, but he just does such a fabulous job that I just wanted to give him a shout out. So I did write, there's a quick synopsis here, and I just want to share this with you. It's a Philadelphia-based FBI agent, Tom Brandis, who is Mark Ruffalo. He's been put in charge of a task force investigating a string of violent robberies against stash houses run by outlaw motorcycle gangs. Well, it's technically a gang singular, and there's a reason for that. I just copied that from Wikipedia. So, and you'll see why and all that stuff. But yeah, that's the gist of the show, and great show. And yeah, you were talking about the new Megadeth. I said, yeah, it's a pretty decent song. The new Death Angel is nice. I don't know if you've had a chance to check that out, Nate, but if you haven't, definitely give it a shot. Something about the cult, maybe that's the album. I forget the name of the song. I played it on the radio show, actually, which I was on not too long ago. So if you check out KFAI.org, you might be able to hear that on there. Of course, it's easy to just go to YouTube and whatnot. But yeah, next year is just going to be booming with new releases. You got, like you mentioned, the Megadeth. We mentioned Overkill, and we mentioned, Death Angel. Anthrax is going to have a new album next year. So we got all sorts of yum fucking music coming up for us. I don't know if I've ever used that term to describe music, Nate, but
yum sauce.
I don't know what the fuck that was. And I found a snippet. I apparently Megadeth topped the iTunes top 200 or some shit, and so they knocked Taylor Swift off the top 200 with "I Don't Care."
That says something.
Yeah, that's a powerful statement. Fucking right, she is. Oh, and speaking of Overkill, Nate, I've been trying to order that fucking Killing Kind reissue. They're doing like small variations or small prints of these different variations. Like one's got the liquid filled, one's the pop-up. There's one that gives you a reach around. There's a black vinyl, I think. I don't even know. But
how much is that reach around one?
It's not fucking there. That's the problem, Nate. I can't get the pricing on this because it's not on their website. And they're on their social media they're saying it's up now. I even launched a VPN and said, I am in Germany. So then went to a different browser and tried to get the goddamn thing to come up. I've tried in a few different ways, and it is not there. So if you're looking it up now and you tell me it's there, I'm going to be fucking pissed. Because I looked a couple hours before we came to record. And I want that thing, depending on shipping costs, of course.
The only Overkill I see on Church of Vinyl is the Feel the Fire, Electric Age, and Immortalis. And that one's sold out.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why they don't take that fucking thing down. That's teasing me. I missed that one. Because I'd like to get that in my collection. But Killing Kind is a way stronger album for me. To where, I'm considering the shipping costs.
Yeah.
As far as getting that in my collection. But that's fucking annoying. It's like they keep saying it's available. It's there. I haven't signed up for the newsletter, although I haven't gotten a single newsletter, but I signed up like the day it was released. So I may have missed the day before announcement or some shit. Or maybe they're only allowing newsletter fans to do it, but they're announcing all over social media and they're not saying if there's any stipulations as far as getting your hands on it. So that's fucking annoying as hell. And once I saw shipping, that may be would deter me anyway, but I'd like to at least look at it. I want that reach around pricing, Nate. Well, how much does that son of a bitch cost?
About $300 probably.
Ooh,
No, I don't know.
that'd be tough.
Is a reach around worth that much? I don't even know.
Is it Bobby or Dee Dee? Because that might make a difference.
The evilest hand job in the world. Dee Dee Verney.
Oh, and since I mentioned it, I will be back on KFAI on December 21st. I already know my schedule for the next couple months, so that comes in handy as far as my planning. But yeah, so if you want to join me and listen to more independent music, I bring a lot of the podcast music to the show. And of course, I play the big bands and stuff too. I try to spread it out a little bit, but I definitely like turning people on. I like it when I play one of the independent bands that I get sent to the show here, and somebody on the Discord chat goes, I just fucking bought that. I got to have this. And sometimes they're pissed off because it's like, oh, the shipping is $30. It's like, yeah, some of this just coming from like Croatia and shit. We get music from all over the world. So occasionally you're going to run into a shipping cost issue, but the dude still bought it digitally. He's like, I'm buying this. I'm supporting this band, but I'd love to have the physical product, but so be it. If he had to buy digital, he bought digital. And I was like, fucking right on, man. That's awesome. Speaking of buying stuff, Nate, you got a list.
Yeah, I've been just still buying tons of music. So
I thought you were going to slow down.
Yeah, it's going to happen eventually. But then I keep seeing stuff, yeah, like there's just tons of good stuff being reissued. And I'm like, I want that. And then I've branched out from like metal and rock. So,
yeah,
I'm like trying to fill in my funk collection and punk and not punk, but funk and reggae and soul and all that type of shit. But anyways, so we're preparing for our KISS worst to best discussion. And there was a few of their albums I wanted to have in my collection. By no means will I ever collect all of KISS because at least half of it is no good, in my opinion. So I'm sure other people feel differently, but KISS was a hugely important band for me as far as they were one of the very first ones that, I went out and bought music for and got into in my, we'd have sleepovers with my friends and we'd be listening to KISS records and stuff like that. But as time has went on, my dad always said they were bubblegum rock, and I used to think, what the fuck? But now I'm like, yeah, they're kind of bubblegum rock, even though I still like some of it. But I got Dressed to Kill, Hotter Than Hell, and Alive 2. Those were the last ones that I kind of wanted to add to my collection. I may add Lick It Up at some point because I do like some of that album, but I'm not sure yet. So
you never know, you might find it on sale.
Yeah, maybe if I find it cheap, All Hell's Breaking Loose, just to have it for that song, would be cool. Nice. I think that one's cool. It's got a good swagger to it, but they finally reissued the first 4 Danzig albums, which I know you know about, and I picked up all of them, all 4 of them. It's funny because I originally only ordered the first 3, but then I found out my Danzig 4 was actually a bootleg, and I wanted official reissue, so I bought Danzig 4, but then I found out my Danzig 2 copy was an actual real Danzig 2 copy, so I didn't really need the reissue, so I'm going to keep the reissue wrapped for now and just keep it on the shelf since, my other one was not a bootleg. But my Danzig 1, Danzig 3, and Danzig 4 were all bootlegs, and so now I have the official releases of those. The sound quality is great. Definitely Danzig 3 was the one I noticed the most because whatever bootleg I bought, it's got some popping in it and stuff like that. It's a color vinyl. It just wasn't very good. I love the album a lot, so I've listened to it a bunch, but having the reissue now is pretty awesome. I picked up Testament Parabellum. I was not even going to buy that, but then I listened to it again, and then we did the worst to best, and not the worst to best, but the track by track.
Track by track.
And we talked about it. You said I had such a change of heart on it. It's my third favorite Testament record, but at this point, but you're like, were you stoned? And which I was, but I'm taking a break again, and I was listening to it while I was working out here last week, and I'm taking a break from weed. But I was working out last week, and I was listening to it, and I'm like, you know what? I love it just as much. So it is a really good album. And the vinyl is 45 RPM, and it fucking sounds really, really good. So I'm really happy to have that. I found Satyricon, The Age of Nero, which is the one album of theirs I really wanted. I have the CD. I wanted to get it on vinyl. I was looking for it in the wild. I was at Chain Reaction Records in Lakewood, Colorado, and they had a copy of it used. So I snatched that up. I'm really excited about that. I picked up Judas Priest, Hero Hero. So if you're not familiar with that, they took the first 2 albums, Rock-A-Rolla and Sad Wings of Destiny, and they kind of intertwined it into a new like tracking. So it's not like one record is complete and the next one. Their songs are intermingled. I knew this
it's
guy.
An oddity.
It's really good though, and it flows really well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm surprised.
I've almost bought that. I've had it in my hands, and it's like I don't know if I need this.
Well, I'll tell you why I got it. So when I worked, when I was in Minnesota and I was at work, I worked with this guy named Dave, massive Judas Priest fan, like probably the biggest Judas Priest fan I've ever met, in person. And
I think if your name is Dave, you just have to be.
Yeah. And he's like Hero Hero's my favorite.
Wow.
And I don't know if that's just was an introduction for him or what, but I've seen it many, many times. I've never really thought of it, but I bought it and I love it. I love listening to it because I love both of the first 2 records, but the way they put them together, like I said, it just flows really nice. It's definitely worth having. It was like it may have been like a record store day release because it's got this really nice embossed record cover.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah. So you might dig it. I also picked up Judas Priest Live. This was an official live record from '87. I picked this one up mainly because Rob Halford said it's his favorite Judas Priest. And so I always listen to Unleashed in the East, but now I picked this one up. And I'm starting to see a lot of Judas Priest bootleg live albums, actually. And I've been curious because I bought a CD with 2 bootleg live shows that really sound good, but you're rolling the dice with the bootleg as far as to how good of a quality it is. And I like a good live album if it sounds good. I don't know. Priest is one of those bands, especially their 70s stuff, sounded really cool live. All right, moving on here. I picked up Cormega. He's a hip-hop artist from Queensbridge, New York. He's considered, like a conscious rap where his lyrics have a little bit more meaning to it, but he is a street guy, so it does have a hard street edge to it. If you listen to or read Prodigy's autobiography, he talks about like as he was coming up in the hood and rapping, people were like, yeah, you're good, but you got to go see this guy. You got to go rap against this guy, Cormega, because he was just known for his lyricism. So the guy went to prison. He never really hit it big time, but he's intermingled with a lot of the big guys like, Mobb Deep and Nas and some of those guys. This is the first record of his I picked up and I enjoy it quite a bit.
Is it a white guy named Corey?
No, he's not white.
Okay. I just trying to figure out where the name came from.
I don't know either. I'm curious about it. Yeah. Cormega. I'm not sure. Another conscious hip hop record I got is called Zion I, True and Livin'. Really good. It's got record scratching in it. And it was funny because we were playing video games, my wife and I was listening to the record and I was like, a lot of hip hop bands don't have that. A lot of hip hop groups don't have the record scratching anymore. And I like that sound in hip hop. I just think it sounds fucking cool. So they have that on here. Another hip hop record I got is Redman, What the Album. Classic. I want to just mention, so that last 3 that I just mentioned, there's a online store called Get On Down Records. I saw the ad for Get On Down Records on like Instagram and I'm like, man, these releases are too good to be true. Like the Redman, What the Album. I never see Redman albums in a store ever. And so I was really worried that these guys were like, it was like a scam. You know what I mean? But I did a little research. It sounded like they were legit. I ordered 3 records from them. They came without incident, and now I'll buy more. They're focusing on some releases that are a little bit harder to find. And now they're starting to branch out into reggae and funk and soul and some of that stuff. So I'm guessing they're going to get a fair amount of money from me. Another rap record I got is Mobb Deep, Infinite. This was posthumously released after... Prodigy died in 2017, and so they must have had, him on tape. They put together this new album. They're my favorite hip hop group, but I was just unsure about how this was going to roll, and it is a fucking awesome album. I love it. The more I listen to it, the more I like it. The more I listen to it, the more songs throughout it grab my attention. So it's really cool. So if you're a fan at all of Mobb Deep and you're wondering about it, I highly recommend it. I got War, The World is a Ghetto. It's been on my list for a while. I pick up Simon, Promise Heights, which is a funk band. And It's like my favorite song by them is called Brothers on the Slide, and it's on this album, but the rest of the album is not that strong compared to like their first album, which is self-titled. But I do want to give it some more listen. They're a funk band, but they incorporate like African Nyambinge type drumming. They've got reggae elements. So they've got a lot of like African cultural type stuff mixed in with their funk. So it's cool. Definitely unique from any of the other funk bands I've checked out. The final record I want to mention that I got is Creedence Clearwater Revival's Chronicles 20 Greatest Hits. Funny, it must have had a bumper sticker with it, and it was still in the record. But
Oh, nice.
for a greatest hits collection, this is maybe one of the best ones ever. Every single song
insane.
is solid. I'm like, this is the best. I don't know. Yeah, and I like other Creedence that wasn't hits, but this is a great collection of Creedence Clearwater Revival. No duds.
Yeah. I remember that one being Strong Chronicles is solid. I think I have that on CD.
Yeah, man.
That wouldn't be a bad one to get on vinyl because, yeah, it's bangers.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go a lot quicker than you just did. I also picked up Danzig and Danzig 2 and Danzig 3. After you had mentioned you placed a second order for 4, I went back and listened to 4 again to see if it was something. There's a little bit of FOMO that's equating into this, but I went and listened to it again, and I just decided it's not a strong enough album for me to pull the trigger on, especially, with the price and shipping and all that. So I just decided to not go place a second order to get Danzig 3 or 4. But I was glad to get, because I got an original Danzig, my Danzig 2 and my Danzig 3 are boots. But the Danzig 2 has got these weird little divots in it, and it just kind of affects the sound. It's just more of an annoyance. But if you're not, if you're not sitting there like just really intent on it, it's not bad, but it's still not ideal is what I guess I'm looking for, especially some of those quieter moments on that record and getting it finally in a nice, clean, respectable way. I forget what album label or what company that was that put those out, but they did a great job, and I really appreciate that they did that. And it's nice to get those things finally out in the world. And who knows, maybe at some point, if there's still some Danzig 4s floating around, I'll find one. I don't know.
I was thinking just because of that, it would be worth having. I know, because the first 3 sold out quick. When I went back to get 4, the first 3 were all sold out. But for me, as I was listening to 4, when I bought it, the reissue, I was like, this is becoming my go-to for Danzig. That one has grown and grown and grown over the years too. I love it just as much as any of the first 3 for sure. And it's becoming my go-to for them. So
you're starting to sound like Jason Bacco.
I know he's a big fan of that one too.
Yes, he is. I know he was disgusted with my lack of lusting for Danzig 4. We talked about that. But there's some bangers on there too, and that's part of the reason I'm like, oh God. For the 2 or 3 songs that I think are like absolute own worthy, it's like, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if it's sold out yet or not. But when I did, I had that come to Jesus moment. It's like, hey, pardon the pun there, Danzig, whether or not it was going to happen, if I was going to spend the extra money to get 4, because I did the same thing as you. I went 1, 2, 3, add to cart, shipping. Let's go. Get these to my house. I am not snoozing on these things. And then after you said you ordered 4, I'm like, oh, God dang it. Do I want to pull the trigger on that? But alas, I have not as of yet. One that I thought I mentioned, but apparently I did not, unless I'm just completely blanking on it. Jimmy Page and the Black Crowes, live at the Greek, the 25th anniversary deluxe box set. I did plink down some money on that. I think, God, where did I get it from? I remember it being on sale. I got one of those lists from that Reddit group I'm on, or one of those alerts, and I looked at it and I'm like, yep, that's the price I would pay for that, because it's got some of the Black Crow songs that they played and more covers that were played on that show that weren't released in the original release. And I've got the original release, but I was like, I want to hear those guys banging out with Jimmy Page doing some Black Crows and some of the other stuff that they did. It's a great live album. I enjoy it quite a bit. As a fan of Jimmy Page and now a new fan of the Black Crowes. I picked up Def Leppard's Pyromania. I think it was Best Buy gave me a $10 gift card to come back and shop for them or something like that. And I don't remember or was that the one? I don't remember, but I remember seeing it was super cheap. And I thought, okay, for Pyromania, hell yeah, I'll pick it up for that price. And it's a damn near, it's cover to cover. There's no disappointments, but it's not like as strong as some cover to cover albums are, but it's very enjoyable. I kind of forgot how enjoyable it was from beginning to end.
That's a good one.
I'm like, I would have paid more for this, but I'm glad I didn't have to, Nate. And the Cars Greatest Hits, I picked that up. That was another one of those Reddit alerts like, hey, super cheap. And this is one that was kind of a purchase for me and the wife because she's I shouldn't say a big Cars fan, but she enjoys the Cars quite a bit. It's one of those that she'll tell me stories like, oh, I remember my brother telling, when he'd play this and blah, blah, blah. I shouldn't blah, blah, blah over that, but you could, I was just saying, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that was a nice one to have for spinning.
I wouldn't mind having a Cars Greatest Hits.
Yeah, it's a lot of good stuff on that one as well. I'm trying to think if there's any slow or any ones that kind of detract from it, because you're talking about that Clear Creedence one. I don't know if I couldn't put it up there, but I'm starting to wonder if there's any songs that was like, oh yeah, this is a stretch, because they had a lot of great tunes, man.
Yeah, totally.
And then finally I picked up Todd Latour. He's the vocalist for Queensryche. He did an album where he did everything on it because he's a drummer, and it's more thrashy than it is Queensryche. And it's been on my wish list for a long time. And I went back and listened to it again because I thought, it'd be kind of fun to bring that to KFAI. And then I went and listened to it again. I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to buy this CD and get it off my wish list and see if I enjoy it as much as I did when I first heard it. Because I even turned somebody on who's like a kind of a music snob, big Judas Priest guy, but his name isn't David. Or what was his name?
Dave.
Yeah. So his name wasn't David or Dave. But he loved it. He was like, oh my God, this is fucking awesome. I was like, holy shit. The one person I was a little bit reluctant to tell the guy about it was the one that he's like, I bought it. I own that. And I was like, holy shit. That was a way bigger response than I was getting. I was just curious to see what he thought of the Queensryche singer with his own album. No, he went all in, fucking head first into the deep end, man. I was like,
nice
shit. Oh, but enough talking about what we bought, Nate. Let's listen to something. What do you got?
It's time for What's Nate Been Listening To? Where we check in to see what Nate's been listening to lately. And ladies, he definitely likes to share. On the Disciples of the Watch podcast.
Yeah, I won't get too deep into this since I kind of talked about it here as I was talking about purchases, but I'm going to share a song off of that new Mobb Deep record, Infinite, and the song is called Score Points. Prodigy, especially like after he went to prison and came out and was doing some of his own solo records, he got this flow where like it's super, super laid back, but it's really violent at the same time. And just somehow that combo or that vibe just really works well for me. Yeah, this song is called Score Points. It's really cool. I'm really excited about this album. I hope you dig the song.
Tough guy now. Okay. Praying on the weak ones over there. I see you. Okay. You would do that shit to a real gangster, nigga. The fuck is up? Well, y'all niggas know who to do that shit. Do that shit to me. Do that shit to me. Bring that shit over here, yo. What the fuck, yo? Y'all niggas ain't tough. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah. Yo, look. I feel strange every day, like something about to happen bad. Prepared for the worst, anticipate the best. I think positive, but my thoughts have undertones. I do my best to keep it balanced, but it thunder rolls. Keep a storm brewing. Don't make God strike lightning on your body. Get your life ruined. My intuition forces me to pay attention. Like AK-47s force bullets through them vests. My eyes pierce you, I see clear through. Too much murder, my emotions are fear proof. My friends' bodies was riddled with bullets. They killed Yami with a bat, he ain't see it coming. They shot my cousin Manu in the face with the Uzi, and we still out here thugging. Yeah, it's not a movie. Scrubbing blood out the carpet of the back seat. I ride around for days looking for you actually. Thought you knew something, but you ain't know a fuck thing. We thought you was hard, you really just a soft team. I'm not a bully, I don't prey on weaklings. You speaking like you tough, get treated like you mean it. You only score points on a gangster. You only get points if they real. You only score points if they violated. You only earn points if they squeal.
Think about my life and all the moments I could've folded, but never folded. No lies, we'll sugarcoat it, sit you down like COVID. My brain overloaded with that bullshit. Y'all niggas spit, that's duly noted. You ain't low, nigga. I picked it, you ain't noticed in the corner. All by myself, cause I'm the chosen. I be knowing my own strength. Keep these cowards at arm's length. I don't sweat or let that shit stress. I trust the process. When they pop off, they disappear like rabbit in hat tricks. In that last song, bragged about how you gonna clap shit. Or your math wrong, the way you move, looking ass backwards. Perhaps it's the fact you niggas really not factors. They attention whores, chasing clout till they get that bloody mouth. Yap for that money pouch and jewelry things. Yeah, the cat's out the bag. You ain't like that, nigga. Pull they skirt up, they working with vagina, nigga.
Thought you knew something, but you ain't know a fuck thing. We thought you was hard, you really just a soft team. I'm not a bully, I don't prey on weaklings. You speaking like you tough, get treated like you mean it. You only score points on a gangster. You only get points if they real. You only score points if they violated. You only earn points if they squeal.
All right, that was Mobb Deep with the song Score Points off their latest album, Infinite. So, hope you enjoyed it.
All right, Nate, you ready to talk some news?
Yeah, you have a funny story right off the bat here, so I'm curious to hear about this one.
And now, the news on Disciples of the Watch.
Well, Nate, that teaser, thank you for that. Well, I wasn't really going to cover this. At first I was, but I thought I'm going to dig a little deeper into this before, or at least get the most recent update. There was a black metal band that supposedly were lost in the mountains in Norway. So that's the blast, like Blabbermouth and all that. Everybody's sharing it. And of course, everybody's laughing because it's the meme in real life. The bands go out into the hills or into the mountains or the forest and get lost.
Yeah.
So it turns out it wasn't real. It was a fucking hoax. It was the band said it was an artistic experiment and a social experiment to promote an album, also known as what we call a fucking hoax. So there's people out there. There was like pictures of people out there trying to search for these guys, and they're out there in the fucking cold. I'm guessing it's cold. It's fucking Norway.
Yeah.
Like Minnesota. So they're out there busting their ass and they're worried they might come across some bodies. They might be, or they're trying to find these people. It turns out they're not even there. It was a stupid fucking hoax. Huh. And it's just fucking sad. And I'm not even, that's why I don't have the name of the band or anything like that. Don't look it up.
I hadn't even heard
of it. Now you know
it.
the story.
But it's crazy.
It popped like right at the end of the week. And yeah, I was kind of surprised you didn't have it in your pieces, but then I thought, oh, maybe he noticed it was a hoax. And I thought, well, I'm going to still talk about it because that's just fucking dumb.
Probably won't get in any trouble for it. I mean, you can only get like maximum of 21 years for murder there. So I can't imagine just hoaxing the cops amounts to much.
Well, they should get a good slapping at the very least. But that's not where we're going to start with the news, though, Nate. That's just a little piece of information I wanted to share.
Yeah, funny.
This is this was inevitable, but it's still a little bit of a sad thing, and we kind of saw it coming. And that is Whitesnake, David Coverdale, the band leader, the guy who brought it from nothing back in the 70s after Deep Purple folded. he is calling it a day. It's time for retirement. It's time for me to call it a day, is what he said. So he's 74 years of age. And of course, he was in Deep Purple from 73 to 76, went solo soon afterwards, and then kind of took that solo thing and just flipped it into Whitesnake. So it's kind of Whitesnake, but there's a subtle difference, but not much. I mean, when he flips into Whitesnake, it's like, yeah, I could see that's kind of David Coverdale solo, but I think he wanted to turn it into a proper band thing. I'm guessing part of it was he probably thought, I'm going to flip my solo into a solo career and have success off the piggybacking off of Deep Purple's success. And the world just went, what?
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe I'll turn it back into a band and then keep on swimming. It took him a while, 87 before he really popped. I mean, globally popped. You know, yes, obviously they were having success and they had some great albums, mostly great singles from albums or, you know, a couple tracks or whatnot and some mediocre type of stuff. But he played with a ton of awesome musicians. Everybody from Deep Purple was in Whitesnake at a point except for, of course, Ian and what's his name?
Richie
Blackmore. So they were never in the band. Everybody else, I think, except for the guy who died, he wasn't in the band either, for reasons, of course, being death. But they've all did a stint, you know, and he's played with some big names and had some great people, Cozy Powell and whatnot. And it wasn't until he got John Sykes in the band that they were like, let's get out of this blues sounding stuff that was big in the 70s and let's get up with the times. And then fucking boom, we got Still the Night and all that other kick-ass stuff. But there is a clip that you can find at DotWPod.com that is him announcing this. And he basically just reaches out and he actually, I forgot about this. I didn't even think about this. He mentions Jimmy Page in his farewell. He's like, I worked with Deep Purple, Whitesnake, Jimmy Page. And he says for the last few years, it's been very evident that it's time for me to hang up my rock and roll platform shoes and my skin tight jeans. So, you know, and he goes into more stuff on there, but if you want to really see it, definitely check out the video. And it's not a tearjerker. You know, it's like, you could tell he's obviously come to terms with this probably a long time ago because they've been battling between his health when they started to do like this final tour type of thing. And he brought in Bruce Dickinson's bassist. Well, actually she became Bruce Dickinson's bassist after her stint in Whitesnake. And we mentioned her name here on the show when she joined Whitesnake, and that's Tanya O'Callahan, phenomenal bass player. And there's a lot to that you could go into if you want to read or dig into the announcement. But I'm trying to look at the more recent stuff as far as he talked about he had a fall recently, which I don't think helped. I got 2 torn rotator cuffs. Oh, this was back in 2023. And that would certainly compromise my performance, but arthritis and that stuff's kicking in. He was still trying in 2023 when all that stuff was going down, and a respiratory infection. He was still trying to I want to go one last time and go around the world and visit the people and celebrate Whitesnake before I call it a day. And time ran out, and that's very unfortunate. But we wish you a very happy retirement, Mr. Coverdale, and long live Whitesnake.
Thanks for that one good song, Still the Night.
Oh, come on, Nate.
I'm not a huge Whitesnake fan. That song is fucking phenomenal, but
it is. Yeah. That got me through a lot of tough times. And he's just fucking that. You put that banger on. It's like, fuck yes. I want to go bang some chicks. That didn't happen. And I want to beat people up. That didn't happen.
but it was the feeling.
Yeah. It gave me that energy. Dude, I'm telling you, go dig into those earlier albums and see.
Well, I've listened to Slide It In and stuff. I know that album. I don't know. I mean, they're not bad. It's just,
what's wrong with that song?
It's not a bad song. I just,
Okay. Well, you were just shouting out one song and everything else was trash.
Well, that's the one that comes to mind.
It does come to mind. Top of mind.
No, when I was hanging out, when I was 10, or 11 years old, and I had some friends that were 13. And that's where I was getting first turned on to Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast and some of that stuff. I remember that the guy that my friend's older brother had Whitesnake Slide It In, and I was borrowing music from them. So that's where I got turned on to Motley Crue, Shout at the Devil, and all that stuff too. So, but anyways, yeah, that one goes back a ways.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This next one, I'm really hoping that there's a recording of this at some point. I would love to see this. and that is Massive Attack has teamed up with Sepultura co-founders Max and Iggor for a special South American show. Trip Hop Trailblazers will perform Sepultura's classic Chaos AD with the pair to shine a light on the plight of the indigenous people of Brazil. Massive Attack have announced details of a collaborative show with Sepultura co-founders Max and Iggor titled The Answer Is Us, under the guise of their Cavalera project. The brothers will team up with the British trip-hop pioneers to perform a version of Sepultura's landmark 1993 album Chaos AD, with the idea behind the show to support and give recognition to the rights of indigenous people of Brazil and the Amazon G9. The event will take place in Sao Paulo on November 13th, which was just a few days ago, at the time that the COP30 International Climate Change Summit is now full-flown in Brazil. I want to mention, I just saw a video of that COP30 conference, and a whole bunch of fucking Brazilians stormed it. And I
Really?
fucking love it. These fucking globalists, man, they're going around and they're just fucking destroying the fucking planet under the guise of helping the planet. Fuck them. So I'm glad to see that they stormed it. But then here we got, Massive Attack and Sepultura, Max and Iggor out there, fighting the fight. Carrying on with the news story. Speaking about the event, Massive Attack leader Robert Del Naja, a.k.a. 3D, said, "We're honored to collaborate with Iggor and Max in support of the extraordinary integrity and vital role of the indigenous people of Brazil and the wider Amazon region. This is more than a passing of the mic. It's an opportunity to listen to the knowledge, moral authority, and wisdom of the indigenous alliances and help ensure they are heard in the negotiation rooms of COP30. We've never needed their presence with that distorted political space as much as we do now. In times when polarization is so present, when people feel divided and distracted, we are honored to join forces with Massive Attack and the indigenous people of Brazil and Amazon to weave a narrative of positivity and change," the Cavalera brothers added. "We're beyond excited to work alongside a band like Massive Attack and have been fans for many years. We have fostered a close relationship with the indigenous people and have worked alongside them for many years now. It's a privilege to share the stage with both of them." I would love to hear that.
Nice.
I like trip hop. It's definitely different. When I read it, I was like, okay, I could see it, but I wouldn't have just put that together in my head, like putting those, two extremes together.
Not a fan of that type of music myself, but I'd be definitely interested in hearing that. Well, Nate, we finally got the final numbers on the money that was raised for charity from the Back to the Beginning show. And after all the bills were paid for travel and stuff, none of the bands got paid. Everything shakes out to about $11 million. Of course, that's just what the Osbourne family, whatever Incorporated, Black Sabbath Incorporated, is sending in for that. Because remember when it first came out, they were talking about raising like nearly 200 million. It was like 190 million or something like that. But that was like, oh, all this money came in, but now you got to pay for all the bands, the people that needed to be there. They got to get there, and they got to be housed, and they got to be fed. So it's not like the bands themselves were going out of pocket.
Yeah,
they were obviously hoping to make enough money to pay the expenses for the bands, even though the bands themselves were not taking a paycheck. They donated their time. There were bands that did ask for paychecks, and then Sharon crossed their name off the list. She still hasn't announced that either, I don't think. Has she, Nate, the one big band she said?
No, I don't recall hearing anything about it. I mean, I know we talked about it when that first came up, but I haven't heard anything since about it.
I'm kind of glad she held off on it. If she wants to talk about it next year or something like that, but because that was the gumption. It was like, oh, they're going to have the concert, and then she's going to announce who this band was. And it's like, let's not fucking throw shade on the event. Let's focus on the positive thing that it was, and not worry about, well, this band wanted to get paid. And there was a lot, of course, rumors around it was Megadeth, and there was rumors that it was Motley Crue and blah, blah, blah. There was rumors actually it was Tool, and then Tool was there. So it was like, I think that one got booed down right away because people were like, Tool's going to be there. So it obviously is not Tool, you dumbasses. But there's the number. So $11 million. That was July 5th is where the event was. It was on a Saturday. I remember it because I watched it and I enjoyed it. I spent the whole day watching all sorts of cool musicians perform a couple of their songs and a Black Sabbath or Ozzy song. And I think Tom Morello may be at fault with this, because he was the musical director for the event, put in a lot of work, and kudos to Tom for doing the work and doing all that and bringing those bands together. And he was talking about that. I think it was Eddie Trunk. He's like, I had to get Metallica. He's like, once I got Metallica, then it was very easy to get all these other bands. And it's like, well, but you got fucking Black Sabbath and you got Ozzy. I mean, how hard is it going to be to get bands, for Christ's sakes?
Yeah.
But I think everybody felt like, well, you get that linchpin band of, you get one current active major band, be it Iron Maiden or be it Metallica, then fuck, there you go. But he had posted on Instagram that there was 190 million American dollars that were made and that would be donated to charity. Well, he kind of shot himself in the foot in a fashion, because it's like, you may have brought in all this money, but you still got bills to pay. And, you got to pay for the stadium, and all the people that work at the stadium, and et cetera, et cetera. And there was, of course, money brought in from the pay-per-view. God, what do they say? Nearly 6 million people did the pay-per-view. And that's a big chunk of money right there. And let's see, I want to jump down through here. So she offered insight. She actually, I think, was the first to say, we don't know what the amount was or something like that. And she said, if one show could have raised, the articles were saying it was up like 190 million. It's like any artist just to do one show, big show, film it, and you can just retire on just one show. No, it was nowhere near, and I wish that it was, but we are living in reality in the real world. Asked by Jack, her son, what Back to the Beginning actually raised, and this was on their podcast, Sharon said it raised 11 million, but with the cost, because we paid everything, bringing everybody in, like I mentioned, and nobody asked for a penny. They gave their time, their efforts, everything for free. People were just, oh God, so generous. And she had even shot that down, but before Ozzy had died. So even if I wonder if those numbers have any sort of factual relevance to them, the 190 or even the 140 that she mentions later on in this piece. And she's even questioning, she's like, where does this stuff come from? Well, that's the internet. That's the world we're in, unfortunately. Everybody'd rather jump the gun and try to be the first to get something out there, even if it's not true. It's like, well, now you just look stupid, or you make other people look stupid. So here, Billboard reported that July concert was watched by 40,000 ticket holders and 5.8 million individuals online, with each of the above mentioned charities also. And there's of course, there's a bunch of charities that were benefit. They were also raising tens of thousands of pounds in addition to what was raised by raffling off tickets to the show, auctioning off iconic art and band photographs donated by Black Sabbath, and through individual contributions from fans as they streamed into the concert, which took place at Villa Park in Birmingham. I almost want to say Via Park. Maybe there it's Via Park too. And that was in Birmingham, of course, England. So and I know there was a little bit of scuttlebutt at the end of the show, but that was just because they cut up the streaming. But this is the event. The end of the show was this, Ozzy has said, this is the last song ever. Your support has enabled us to live an amazing lifestyle. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And then he was later presented with a cake while fireworks lit up the stadium from overhead. The message on the screen read, "Thank you for everything. You guys are fucking amazing. Birmingham forever," before the sky lit up with fireworks. And of course, just to add to this and wrap it up, Ozzy died on July 22nd of a heart attack. His death certificate revealed. The certificate also reportedly said the musician suffered from a coronary artery disease and Parkinson's disease, which we knew. And I know it's also been reported recently, I don't have it in here, that Ozzy was in the hospital like 2 weeks before the show. And they think they wanted to keep that quiet because they didn't want bands to be concerned about, flying over here and then all of a sudden Ozzy can't be part of it or something like that. But man, they got lucky and they got it done, and Ozzy got the send off before he passed. And that was fucking awesome. So let's take a break and listen to some music here. What do you say, Nate?
Sounds good. Diavola.
It is from Norway. This is from the album Without Judgment. The song I selected, Black Tooth Grin. And we'll have links to the show notes. Don't forget, check that out, DotWPod.com, Black Tooth Grin.
Get close!
right, there you go. Diavola with Blacktooth Grin. And don't forget, show notes at dotwpod.com if you want to support that band and buy that release without judgment.
Is Blacktooth Grin a nod to Megadeth or Pantera?
That I don't know. I was assuming it was Pantera.
Well, there's a lyric in Megadeth that's
there is.
Grin.
Yep.
Curious.
Sweating bullets.
Well, I thought this next one was kind of funny. Hardcore legends Henry Rollins and Ian MacKaye team up on new music project. I said, the article says that they're going into the studio to record 4 songs. Rollins said, weeks ago, I journeyed to DC in order to work on a great project. Ian MacKaye and I went to Inner Ear Studios, where we made our first records decades ago and mixed a 4-song session with the great Don Zientara at the board. This is the same studio where the Teen Idols, Minor Threat, Bad Brains, and many others recorded. It was amazing to be back there with Ian and Don. Part of the way through the mix, none other than Eddie Janey of the Untouchables, Rite of Spring, One Last Wish, Happy Go Licky, Screwballed, and other great bands joined us. The session benefited greatly by his presence. As to the tracks, I had them mastered several days ago and now working on the layout and design for the record. When it's ready, I'll let you know. We are extremely excited by this one. So, okay, this made it sound like they went and recorded a new album.
Yeah.
So then another article came out, like having to clarify that actually Rollins has some tape of a punk band from 1979, and he's not saying who it is, but he's going to, they remastered it, essentially. Henry Rollins did, when he clarified, he says Henry Rollins says a new album he helped mix with Ian MacKaye does not actually feature either of them, as they only worked on transferring and mixing a 1979 punk demo. I'm still very interested. It was funny because Rollins said that he's out of music. He's got no more lyrics. There's no more toothpaste in the tube, was basically how he said it. So, but I was like, wow, that'd have been cool to hear a new recording of them, but it wasn't that. And that whole first article was very misleading, and I'm glad I saw a follow-up to it, because I was going to just share it on the story and share about excitement about hearing this, but then finding out, well, actually it's not that, but might be, I'd be curious to hear who this band is once they release that info.
Yeah, definitely. I wonder if it's Death. I wonder if they had a demo of Death.
The punk band.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Not the death metal band. Yeah, Blacktooth Grin, it is a nod to Pantera, like I figured. But yeah, I assumed, and you're right. Just with some of the lyrics I thought I heard.
Yeah.
I guess I wasn't paying close enough attention. I just thought, hey, that's a good track. I'm going to play that.
Cool.
Well, Nate, one of our very much admired musicians that we enjoy on this show has been gifted an award that will give him $26,000 for the rest of his life to continue to create. He's 69 years old. And did you hear about this one yet, Nate?
I did, and I forgot about it, and I'm glad you grabbed it and put it in here, because I think it's really cool.
Awesome. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you just didn't see it, because I thought, no, Nate would talk about this if he saw it, I would think. But yes, it's our friend King Diamond. He got from his, well, here, I guess I'll get into it before I blow my wad, but yeah, that's freaking awesome. That's not a living wage, but that definitely fucking helps.
Hey, man, it's just
or maybe
the
over there it's
recognition.
A living wage.
It's not like he's not mainstream in any fucking shape or fashion ever in any time of his career. Has he ever been mainstream? And so for his country to recognize him in that way, I think is really cool, honestly.
Agreed. So compared to the billions and billions of dollars like stars like Beyonce, Selena Gomez, and Taylor Swift make every year, $26,000 may not seem like a lot, but for those musicians whose names aren't on the Forbes 400, $26K could be life-changing. Heck, even if you're one of the most celebrated vocalists in metal history, like King Diamond, that amount could be a difference between hanging up your hat or continuing to pursue your life's dream. I don't think he'll ever hang it up, Nate. He's probably going to die on stage. Knock on wood. I don't want that to happen.
Maybe when his voice isn't able to do what he does, because it is way too integral for his sound, for him to lose his voice.
Yep. Yeah, he's not going to be out there Don Docking in it.
God, I hope not. He seems too classy to do that.
Yeah, like David Coverdale. So he came, King Diamond first came screaming onto the metal scene in 1980 as the vocalist for Merciful Fate, a band that had a massive impact on the emerging thrash and black metal genres, influencing groups like Metallica and Slayer. As part of the eponymous band, King Diamond became one of the most influential metal bands with albums like Fatal Portrait, Abigail, and Them. In recent years, King Diamond, the singer, has performed with King Diamond, the band, as well as Merciful Fate. And now he'll have some help covering the costs of future tours thanks to a lifelong honorary grant from the Danish Arts Foundation. As reported by Metal Hammer, the Danish Arts Foundation awards grants to 5 individuals annually, with each recipient receiving up to $189,000 Danish krona, approximately $26,000 a year. The grant celebrates creative artists who have such an artistic production behind them that they have positioned themselves decisively as artists. And of course, as we know, he was born Kim Bendix Peterson. He's one of the most legendary and visionary figures in heavy metal. Wrote the foundation when announcing this year's class of winners. With his piercing falsetto theatrical appearance in occult narrative universe, he has created a musical and visual language that is entirely his own. Hear to that. With his music, he put Denmark on the metal world map as early as the 80s. And there's a little bit more in there if you want to read into the show notes. And they do actually scratch a little bit on his health issues back in 2010 when he finally quit smoking. I mean, that wasn't the crux of it, but it definitely didn't help him. And the whole triple bypass, and he's still surviving, and he's still out there, and he's still kicking ass, Nate.
Yeah, and in some ways his voice sounds better than it did, before all that happened.
And unfortunately, there's still no news on releases for the new King Diamond nor Merciful Fate.
Yeah, I won't be holding my breath for that. I'll be excited when it comes, but damn, they've been dragging that out forever. Yep. All right. Little exciting news. If you're a fan of Alice in Chains, they are doing a 30th anniversary reissue of their 1995 self-titled album. Alice in Chains' double platinum 1995 self-titled album, Alice in Chains, is getting a fresh vinyl reissue on January 30th via Legacy Records. The release honors the last full-length studio effort the band completed with vocalist guitarist Lane Staley, who passed away in 2002. The edition doesn't add bonus tracks, but it does come in multiple vinyl options with pre-orders already live through Revolver and Brooklyn Vegan, which is where I pre-ordered it from, Brooklyn Vegan. One standout version is a translucent highlighter yellow pressing with black and white splatter capped at 4,000 copies. There's also a deluxe package that will include the original record across 2 vinyl LPs plus 3 7-inch singles, posters, 10 custom art prints, hardcover book, 12 tarot cards, a cassette, 2 double-sided 24 by 24 posters, double-sided Zetrope slip mat, and a 3D ballerina plus Zoetrope coin record topper available from the band's web store. I was getting very, very close to spending a lot of money to buy this on vinyl, like I just did with Ozzy's Randy Rhoads tribute. And then I think you sent me the link. So I snatched it. I got on that right away because this is another one I'm assuming is going to sell out quick, but I don't know.
Well, this is going to have a bigger, wider release, but I wonder if some of those that you're reading about are, because the one I sent you I sent you 2. I sent you the Walmart one, which had the cool purpley vinyl, I think it was. And then I found this one a couple days later, I think it was, or maybe it was the next day. And I was like, oh, Brooklyn Vegan, we like those guys. And
yeah, that's where I ordered it from. So yeah, awesome. Very excited for this one. It's funny. I want to get Sap, and I used to see it all the time, and now I don't see it ever anywhere. Fucking A. Should have snatched that one up too, but oh well.
You didn't mention Slayer's 40th anniversary reissue of Hell Awaits?
Yeah, that's another one. I don't know. I ran out of news stories, but I'm not.
That won't be out until next year.
I'm not that level of a collector. Even like Slayer is my favorite metal band for sure, but I don't need to have, even like this Alice in Chains, I don't need like the posters and the cassette and all that other stuff. I don't hang up posters. I don't really have any of that stuff going on anymore, so that stuff's not as important. But I like that the Slayer one is being released by Slatanic Verses or something like that. I can't remember what the wording was. Anyways.
Well, I thought it was Show No Mercy.
Hell Awaits.
Metal Blade, I mean. Yeah, it'll be Metal Blade. But that's next spring, so we can always mention it again. So forget you heard this on the podcast, and we'll talk about it in the spring. Are you looking something up, or should I continue?
Yeah, you can roll on. That's cool.
It's funny because you were mentioning all that stuff that comes. You could get all these different packages, and I was looking at the Slayer one. I'm like, this
Same
is
thing.
It's like a shopping list. How much do you want to spend? How much? What do you want to get?
Yeah.
How important is this album to you to get the little ballerina coin topper on the Zoetrope? Blah blah blah.
If I was like 17 or 18 years old, I'd probably be like, oh fuck yeah, I want all that. But yeah, I just want to hear the music.
Well, and maybe if you're a huge insane fan, this would be right up your alley. Me, sometimes I just need the vinyl. That's all I need.
Yeah, I want to hear the music. That's ultimately what I'm a fan of.
Although I was looking to spend extra money on the reach around version of the Overkill.
Now that would be a special.
It would be a special purchase.
That might be a perk worth spending the money on. I don't know.
That's my Christmas present. Oh, shoot. We better listen to some more music here. Exit is who we're going to listen to next, Nate. They hail from Switzerland. This is from the album Live at Home Studio - The Corn Dolly Aftermath. That sounds confusing, Nate. It sounds, I don't know, something like might happen to you at summer camp. The Corn Dolly Aftermath. Become that instance known as the Corn Dolly Aftermath with the instructors at the camp. But I digress. The song that I selected is On This Side or the Other. Check it out. Exit.
On the verge of extinction, we meet each other.
All right, there you go. That was Exit. That was On the Other Side. And don't forget, hit the show notes at dotwpod.com to support these artists, buy their music, or at the very least, go give them a like or whatnot on social media so you can stay tuned for what they've got coming out. That release, I forgot to mention, was from 2023, Exit with On the Other Side. And that is the news. If you're in a band and you'd like to be considered to be played on the Disciples of the Watch podcast, please email us at, let's just say, dotwpod@gmail.com, or you can always give music at dotwpod.com a try as well. Both of those should get you to where you need to be unless GoDaddy screws us over. And stay tuned to this feed or subscribe just so you don't forget or miss out on anything, because we've got more independent music specials coming out every month. We recently did a track by track, which we mentioned on Testament's Parabellum, and we got that special, very special Worst to Best coming up in December with a bunch of guests who are contributing lists. I'm excited for that. Nate, I know you are as well.
Totally. It's going to be an interesting discussion.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how everybody stacks up, but I'm also not going to be too concerned about it because I am not a Kiss fanboy. I just enjoy a chunk of their music, but not all of it.
Well, hopefully there are some
Definitely
fanboys, though, because that will make it more interesting than, here's 10 albums and the rest can all be last.
And we have one of the ultimate fanboys. Well, he's a fanboy in recovery, let's say. He will be our master list provider, the one that we will be using as the rankings to compare our rankings to. And hopefully that all works out before we go to record. But it sounds like it will. But I've already got a list submitted. I've got mine done. I think you've got yours done.
My rankings are done. I just need to make some album notes.
Gotcha. Fabulous. So yeah, we got all sorts of fucking cool stuff coming up. Speaking of cool stuff coming up, I'm looking for this, Nate, the final talker. 11 essential 80s metal albums everybody needs on vinyl. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, for the record, I have all of these on vinyl. So
Nice.
I'm a metal person that has the essentials. There's some heavy ones on here. And when you think about all the metal that came out in the 80s, because it really boomed in that decade, they picked some really good ones on here.
Looking forward to it.
Let's kick it off. The first one on the list is Black Sabbath's Heaven and Hell. Definitely a worthwhile.
Ooh, nice.
Key tracks, Neon Nights,
Absolutely.
Children of the Sea, and Heaven and Hell. Of course, Heaven and Hell is just so epic. Children of the Sea is also
Fuck yes.
awesome. Yeah. I like Neon Nights too, but that one's just more of a straightforward rocker to me than I don't know. Heaven and Hell is just epic. Lyrically, musically.
Neon Nights is one of those that has grown on me over the years. I enjoy that more than I used to.
Yeah, I saw Dio live during Lock Up the Wolves. Sometimes this almost feels like a dream that this I was like, did I imagine this? Because I saw Dave Ellefson too with Soulfly once at Station 4.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, did I really see that? But Geezer Butler came out and played Neon Nights. Fuck,
Nice.
I was, I don't know if he's just in town or what, but I think, in fact, when I was listening to Geezer Butler in his book, I think he talks about being in town during that time. So anyways, yeah, he came out and played that.
Sounds familiar.
It was cool. I hadn't seen Black Sabbath or any, of the members live at that, when that happened. The second album on the list here is Ozzy Osbourne's Blizzard of Oz. It's an essential.
Oh yeah.
We all know the songs off that one, so we don't need to. They have key tracks here listed for all these. We got Scorpions, Animal Magnetism, 1980.
That's an interesting pick.
I like that they went to 1980 because I think 70s Scorpions was more compelling than the stuff in the 80s. And this was kind of a pivotal moment here with this record where it was still had some of that older vibe, but then, it's going to be moving on to what they went on doing. But the song The Zoo is pretty heavy. And that's one of the standout tracks.
That's a
on here,
banger.
as well as Make It Real
Well,
and Lady Starlight.
Yeah, this feels odd to me being on the list. I appreciate them including the Scorpions on there, but yeah, it's got some decent stuff on it.
We got Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast.
Yes.
Essential. Judas Priest, Screaming for Vengeance.
That'd be tough. That'd probably be the pick though, now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, of course,
far
different people have
Priest.
different opinions on what their favorite priest is, but this one is, this was a big one for them. You've Got Another Thing Coming was a huge song for them as well. I'm pretty sure Halford was talking about that in Biblical. Dio, Holy Diver, got to have Dio on here. Even though
Nice.
they got Black Sabbath with Dio listed on here, but there wasn't any Black Sabbath with Ozzy in the 80s, was there?
No, that all 1980. Yeah, that's why the 79 I think was when they released their last album, and then Heaven and Hell, Sabbath with them obviously came out in 1980.
But Dio, being one of the greatest metal vocalists of all time, deserves to be on here twice.
Nothing wrong with that.
Metallica, Ride the Lightning.
Ooh, they went with Ride the Lightning.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'd prefer Puppets myself.
Yeah, I wonder why they picked this one. There wasn't really any write-up on each of these, so.
I think they just want to be contrarian. Because there are some people who do appreciate Ride the Lightning more than Master Puppets, but you can't deny the impact that Master Puppets had. Ride the Lightning was a building block off of Kill 'Em All, and Puppets was like, here's the pinnacle of Metallica thrash.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you on that. Though I love Ride the Lightning, but yeah, I mean, Master Puppets, one of the greatest metal albums across any metal genre, for sure. One of the top.
Yeah, I'm looking at Defenders of the Faith, Nate. I'm almost wondering if that should be on here instead of Screaming for Vengeance.
Well, I like Defenders of the Faith a lot more than I like Screaming for Vengeance, but I know other people who are fucking fanatical about Screaming for Vengeance. So, and I almost wonder if they picked it because it has You've Got Another Thing Coming on it, which was a big one for them. So
yeah, but here, look at this. We got Free Will Burning, Jawbreaker, Ride Hard, Ride Free, The Sentinel, Love Bites, Eat Me Alive, Some Heads Are Gonna Roll. Fuck, there's your radio hit.
that's a good one
to compete with Another Thing Coming. Night Comes Down, Heavy Duty, and Defenders of the Faith, which, but it doesn't end strong, but damn, there's a lot of strength in that release. That's why I was a little bit surprised they went for Screaming, but I'm going to look at the track list there and see if I can talk myself out of it, Nate. So we got Hellion Electric, of course, Riding the Wind, Bloodstone, Take These Chains, Pain and Pleasure, Screaming for Vengeance, Again, Nothing Coming, Fever, and Devil's Child. Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards Defenders of the Faith.
I would agree with you. Well, I think when we did our worst to best, there was a number of people who've ranked Screaming for Vengeance at the top, maybe even.
Well, they're dumb.
They're wrong.
Because I said so. I'm kidding, of course.
Well, this is the best album on the list, and that is Exodus, Bonded by Blood. Just kidding.
If you ask the band members.
They've based their whole career on the glory of this one album.
Yeah.
Even though I prefer
pinnacle.
Pleasures of the Flesh by far over this one, but
as do I. That's our brotherhood of Exodus, you and me.
Word. Okay, this one I thought was really cool that they put this on here, and that's Death, Leprosy from 1988.
Wow. Definitely. Yeah, we're getting heavy.
Yeah. One that I mean, of all the stuff that came out, man, in the 80s, they put this on here, and it's I guess they're including death metal. Death is definitely one of the pioneers of that genre of music, and this album is killer. Cool cover too.
Wait, you own Bonded by Blood and vinyl?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I got Bonded by Blood and Pleasures of the Flesh.
Okay. For some reason, I didn't know you had that in your collection, or we never talked about it. Because when you and I were shopping together, when you were here back in Minnesota a couple months ago or whatever it was, I ended up buying a copy for myself, so I finally have it.
Yeah. I bought it just because of its significance in the metal community. It's not a go-to for me. Like, I do go to Pleasures of the Flesh typically if I want to hear Exodus. Last two are a couple of my favorite albums from the 80s. That is Slayer's South of Heaven from 1988.
Oh, yeah.
And then number 11 is Overkill, The Years of Decay, which I was very stoked to see on here.
Yes. That's fucking awesome. That's you know what? That's why they made it 11 instead of 10, Nate. Because they're like, we got to have fucking Overkill on here. They could have pulled Scorpions off though, if you wanted to make it 10. If you want to ask me, but fuck yeah, they finished with a banger. That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I'd say Scorpions is the weakest one of the ones they listed, and then as we said, Priest, we would have picked a different Judas Priest, and we would have picked a different Metallica for sure. So, yeah, otherwise, nothing.
But overall, not too bad of a list.
Not a super exciting list. Just, I don't know, kind of interesting. I don't know. Keep talking about all these best albums all the time, and I just happen to have all these on vinyl. So,
as do I. I think I do. I'm pretty sure I do. I think Exodus might have been the last piece of that puzzle.
And the Holy Diver I have is that
almost-
remaster one or remix.
Oh, the remix.
I don't have the original version. I have it on CD, but I don't have it on vinyl. But I do have that remix version on vinyl, which I really like.
Yes, it's a banger. I almost lean towards that over the original.
Same.
But I do have the original on vinyl. But I think the last time I spun it, I went back to the remix. Of course, it's newer and shinier. But I think it'll hold up over time. I think it'll definitely stay strong as far as like, oh, this is becoming the new norm for listening to that record.
Dio's Holy Diver, for as, much as it's talked about and as important as it is, I remember seeing it in the discount bins back in the 80s. Go to like Target and it would be in like their cassette discount bin. And I'm like, I just reflect back on that periodically. Like, why was that in the discount bin? You know what I mean? I don't know. It wasn't one time that I saw it either. I don't know. Yeah.
Guessing that they probably printed too many copies for the demand or purchased too many copies. If you were at Kmart and they bought a truckload and it's like, well, we moved half a truckload, we're going to do it the rest. And it's like, well, the album's kind of petering out and maybe we'll just throw in the discount bin.
Yeah, I was in Burnsville, Minnesota, so it's not like it was the epicenter of fucking metal, whatever. Though there was a number of us metal people in that little town.
And there was a Kmart. All right, Nate. Well, that was a fun little list, but we got to go out with a song from the list, I'm assuming. What do you have for us on this?
Always tied to the list, man. But yeah, I picked out Death, Leprosy. We're going to roll out with Pull the Plug. I know that was the song that turned you on to Death. Am I correct?
It did. That is correct. Still enjoy it to this day.
It's a standout song on the album. No doubt about it.
Hell yeah. You can't go wrong with a little pulling the plug.
Seems fitting for a closing song, too. We're pulling the
There you
plug
go.
on the episode.
I didn't think. There it is. So yeah, without further ado, here it is. Death, Pull the Plug from Leprosy. And until next time, my friends.
Stay heavy.
Thank you for listening to Disciples of the Watch. This episode was produced by Gene Vogel and Nathan Matnich. All music is property of the artist or the publisher. Please buy music and support the art we all love. Editing on this episode was done by Gene Vogel. Check out our website, DotWPod.com, for show notes, links, and more information on the show, as well as connections to social media. Don't forget to subscribe to the show using your preferred podcast application, or use our FeedBurner RSS feed listed on our website. Plug it into your browser or whatever app you're using, and then you will get all of the goodness moving forward. And you can also download the show as MP3 files from DotWPod.com. If you'd like to support the show, please click on the Support Us link at our website. As well, we have Patreon, so you can do a monthly contribution if you so desire, or purchase some of our merch from our website. Thank you for listening, friends, and stay heavy.